About 5 years ago, this random person wrote on our community's Facebook group. He was complaining about people not making enough events in his region, and he said that we were just lucky to live in a more active scene. At the time, I didn't pay much attention to it, I just logged out and went to bed. My fellow tournament organizers, however, they took it personally. Their reply was thorough, but the main message can be summarized to: do it yourself. Now at first, this might seem like a response a bit too aggressive, but if you understand the context behind it, then, like me, you might change your mind and think that this reply was as precise as it gets. I'm sure most tournament organizers will relate to this, but in the days of Brawl and Smash 4, we had a small scene with very few entrants, very few events, and the ones that we did have, they sucked. Entries were expensive and they didn't even follow tournament rules. It wasn't uncommon for a tourney to have items on or having their brackets be single elimination. It wasn't good. The thought of us straight up doing something better became more and more common until finally we did it. And we have been building up ever since. The only way that your tournaments, your events will improve in quality is if someone who's passionate about the game or the event steps up and do it. And if there's nobody doing it, do it yourself. There are a lot of ways that a scene can grow, but it will not happen overnight. If you watched my previous video where I thank PG Bootcamp for their support to our events, then you would know that our scene has been growing a lot in the past couple of years. Our weeklies have over 100 people consistently, sponsors have been taking an interest in players and in our events, and the numbers keep going up. However, people tend to always focus on the end result instead of embracing the process. And if this video has a point, is to encourage other regions to grow their communities. In Europe, for example, they have really strong players all around, and they do have the numbers, but most cities don't have weekly tournaments. When I was in Madrid, I asked a couple of people why they didn't have more events, and they said that not enough people would come. That's just not what they were used to. In Argentina, a certain number of players would go to a tournament, but only some of them will be registered to play. Apparently, low-level players love the game, but they feel that they don't have the level to compete whenever good players are in the bracket. And I get it, organizing an event for people not to show up sucks almost as much as paying money for an event and then losing right away to someone who's way better than you, but there's always something that you can do. In my country, for example, we don't charge an entry fee for Street Fighter 6 and Guilty Gear. In fact, that's what we did with Smash tournaments back in the day. There was no venue fee because it was at a friend's house. This made it so that people will show up consistently. Nevertheless, the real growth comes from new players. To me, it's crazy how the year is 2024 and most regions don't have an Instagram account. The most popular forms for someone to get in touch with their community are X, Discord, WhatsApp groups, and Facebook groups. These are good for current members of the community, but aren't practical for getting new players. Anybody who gets into these groups is already familiarized with the scene or has a friend who is. Instagram, on the other hand, is a bit more friendly. New players can just follow you and learn more. Just like most businesses. Instagram is the first place where someone completely new to a competitive scene will check for information. When we opened our Instagram account, a lot of new young talent came on board. Parents engage with the account to see if it's worth bringing their children to the event, and brands have a familiar way to reach out to you and to your event. Overall, it unifies multiple regions and it feels like a wasted opportunity not to have one. Someone just have to put the effort into managing it though. Lastly, but probably even more important, normalize running a bracket for unranked players in your region and normalize having setups for friendlies. More than anything, people just want to play, and the more they do so, the more they're likely to just come back to one of your events. Make new players' interest a priority. There has to be something to do after they are out of the bracket. Plus, it might give promising players the practice that they need in order to actually be good at the game. Like everything in life, consistency is key. After last week's video, people from over 3 countries asked me how did our scene grow so big, and what could they do in order to make that impact in their scenes. To those people, the best advice I can give is don't focus on profits. There's never going to be real revenue at the beginning. You need to start from scratch and make your community grow. My editor showed me this video about the worst Smash tournament of all time. It's so cringy that it's a good watch. However, the ending is full of hope. The TOs from that tournament learned from the mistakes and ended up making great events in the future. That is our advice. Make mistakes, learn from them, and make better events in the future. And if you're a good player in a small scene, you can't be playing for money at the beginning. Just listen to what Mangle said to Nintendo last year.
If you take it all, we'll play in a garage, 20 people there, hot, sweaty, gross, me versus Zane behind a 7-Eleven for 25 bucks. And that's what it's always going to be. You don't understand that the money, the fame, nobody gives, anybody who wants to be a top player gives no about that.
As always, thank you so much for watching the video. I'll start hinting what my next video will be about to see if people watch until the end. This might change, but I want to talk about fandom in esports. Again, this is just a hint, but we'll see how the script turns out. Please consider subscribing if you enjoy the content, and have an awesome day. See you in the next video. Bye.